The night echoes. Why your brain won't let go of today's conversations. You're trying to sleep. You're exhaling. But something is starting again. A moment, maybe just an hour ago. Maybe years ago. A few sentences you said, or perhaps didn't say. You can't just drop it. A specific sentence is now a ghost, haunting your quietest moments. You know you should let it go. You want to, but something else in you is refusing, and you don't yet know why. This isn't just about overthinking. It's about the replay. You're not just remembering. You're experiencing it again. The flush in your face. The slight tremor in your voice that you hope no one noticed. The visual cue you got from the other person. The faint flicker of confusion or disappointment or judging. You dissect the moment with surgical precision. You think, if I'd only said this instead of that. Or, maybe they meant this, but I took it as that. You feel like your entire identity, your competence, your worthiness, is being renegotiated by a jury that has already gone home. This makes you hesitate. The next time you're in a similar situation, you don't speak from intuition. You speak from the edited, polished, safe script you wrote in the middle of the night. You start to perform rather than just be. It affects your decisions. You avoid conversations where you can't control the outcome. It shadows your relationships. You wonder, do they see the same clumsy mistakes you see? This pattern is not random. It's not a glitch. It's a deeply wired human instinct, acting in an environment it wasn't built for. Before we look at the machinery, I need you to know something. You are not broken. This endless replaying, this relentless self-analysis, it's not a flaw. It's actually your brain being incredibly smart. You are watching your intelligence, your social survival mechanism, working too hard. It feels like a trap. It feels like self-sabotage. But it is actually a deeply embedded form of self-protection. You are trying to learn. You are trying to survive in the matrix of human connection. The brain's first priority isn't your happiness. It is your physical and social survival. This process, though agonizing, is an ancient strategy. But to understand why it's so powerful, we have to look inside the engine. The root of this replay is not the conversation itself. It is a profound brain bias that has been with us for millennia. Psychologists and neuroscientists have identified it as a mixture of negativity bias and our intense evolutionary need for social status. In our ancestral past, being outcast from the group, being socially wrong, meant actual death. You couldn't survive alone. Your brain, therefore, treats a potential social misstep like a physical wound. It prioritizes negative information over positive information. You'll always remember the one slightly awkward comment you made over the 10 positive connections you had that day. Why? Because the good things are nice, but the bad things might kill you. Or, at least, that's what your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, believes. Think of your brain as a sculptor and a curator. Every day, you collect raw materials. The things you say, the faces you see, the reactions you get. Most of this material is weak and crumbles, lost in normal forgetting. But some moments, the intense ones, the ambiguous ones, the ones that feel threatening to your identity, are like heavy clay. They have a specific emotional weight. When the world gets quiet, when the curator part of your brain has finished the day's intake, the sculptor arrives. The sculptor is a default mode network, DMN. This is a large-scale brain network that becomes active when you are at rest and not focused on the external world. It's the seat of self-reflection, mind-wandering, and social comparison. The DMN sees that heavy clay, that difficult conversation. It picks it up, and it feels unfinished. Your brain needs a sense of completeness, a sense of coherence, to file a memory away. It needs to know what was the point. Did I win or lose? Am I safe? Because that social threat was ambiguous. The DMN cannot finish the sculpture. It can't say, okay, that's safe now. It has to keep working. It feels the urge to keep refining, reshaping, remolding, hoping that this turn, this new angle, will finally make the sculpture secure. This is the Zygarnik effect. The brain's tendency to remember unfinished tasks and unresolved scenarios better than completed ones. Your brain perceives that conversation as an open loop, an unfinished task of self-protection, until it creates a feeling of coherence. Even if that feeling is a painful, fixed belief about your own flaws, it will not put the clay down. This is the psychological mechanism. Your brain, powered by the negativity bias, driven by social survival, and activated by the default mode network, is trying to create a sense of safety that the world never gave you. So, if we understand this, we can see that shouting, "just stop thinking," is useless. It's like telling your heart to stop beating. The engine is running for a reason. We have to address the reason. Here are 3 psychologically grounded principles to move from a place of helpless replay to quiet understanding. Principle 1. Close a narrative loop consciously. The sculptor keeps sculpting because it doesn't have a finished design. You are replaying a moment in the hopes that one perfect version of the script will finally make you safe. It won't. Your amygdala doesn't need a perfect speech. It needs a resolution. The next time a moment is replaying, do not look for the right words to have said. Instead, decide on the meaning of the whole event. You must build the final sculpture yourself. A simple way to do this is with a ritual of completion. For example, write down the event on paper. Do not just keep it in your mind. Describe the moment, and then intentionally write, "It is unfinished. It was a mistake. I was awkward. It's okay to be imperfect. I cannot change it. I am deciding the conversation is now over." You are consciously telling your demon, "I see this unresolved task. I am finishing it for you." Your amygdala begins to register that you are not under immediate threat from this memory. You're acknowledging it rather than resisting it, which lowers the distress. Principle 2. Adopt a data, not drama, stance. When your brain replays a moment, it usually wraps the facts in intense emotion. "I said something stupid" becomes, "I am stupid, and everyone knows it, and I'll never be respected again." The brain's emotional processing centers, like the amygdala, are in hyperdrive. The goal is to re-engage the logic centers, the prefrontal cortex. You do this by observing the memory as if it were data, not drama. Try this. The moment is replaying. Notice the physical sensations first. Your stomach is tight. Your heart rate is up. Just note it. My body is reacting to an old social threat. Then ask yourself factual questions. What are the exact words I said? What are the exact words they said? What specific facial cue did I see? When you stick to the sensory data, you bypass the cognitive distortions your brain loves to add, like mind reading or catastrophizing. This is not about being cold. It is about activating the prefrontal cortex, which in turn applies top-down regulation to the emotional amygdala. You aren't fighting your feelings. You're just changing the brain regions that are processing the experience. Principle 3. Deflect to action, not reflection. The DMN is a default network when we are at rest. The sculptor only arrives when we stop working. If you are trapped in a replay loop in bed, the DMN is working because you're lying there doing nothing. You cannot stop the DMN by trying harder to do nothing. You must shift to an active network. In psychology, this is known as moving from a self-referential processing state to an externally focused task-positive network state. If the replay is intense and won't stop, get out of bed. Do a small, focused, physical task. Read 2 pages of challenging book. Fold 2 shirts. Draw a simple pattern. Do it in dim light. The key is to create what psychologists call an optimal cognitive load. You need a task that is interesting enough to occupy your brain, but not so stressful that it creates more anxiety. This physical action moves your cognitive resources away from self-reflection and toward external sensory input. You are literally pulling the plug on the DMN's energy source by giving your prefrontal cortex another problem to solve. You don't need to do all 3 of these things. Just remembering this mental model is often enough. Your brain is a social curator. It's collecting the events of your life. Some moments feel heavy and dangerous to your identity. When the world gets quiet, your default mode network picks up the heavy clay and starts sculpting it. The curator cannot finish the piece, and your brain's need for coherence won't let it put the clay down. The sculpting is not a problem. It's an attempt to find a resolution, to find safety. You are not fighting a glitch. You are just redirecting a powerful, ancient force that is trying, in its own way, to keep you safe in the world. You can let go of the pressure to be perfect in social situations. No one is. Everyone else is often replaying their own conversations at night, just like you. This is not a story of being flawed. This is a story of being human. Your messy, ambiguous, unfinished conversations, they are not problems to be solved. They are just moments, collected by a mind that is trying its best. You can rest now. Let the sculptor take the night off. The statue is finished, and it's fine just as it is.